And so that's a product that your company sells exclusively?
No, anybody can sign up for SAP if they know how to do it, but 99% of the people out there don't even know it exists.
Well, I guess that's what I'm wondering. Is this a product or something that you guys sell as a package deal to
government contracts?
Yes.
Some government contracts are awarded as simplified acquisitions. So if you go into FPDS and you put in the word simplified, there's 14,043,273 contracts in the system under simplified acquisitions, right?
Right.
These are contracts that are not put out for bid. They don't have to have the rule of two, so they don't have to collect at least 2 quotes. A lot of times they prepay. So for example, this one right here for $508,000 was awarded yesterday. Click the view link. We'll see that they were given $500,000 up front. It's a $2.5 million contract that they'll collect through 2022 when they complete it. This was done as a simplified acquisition. See it right there?
Yeah.
Small business set aside. And look at how many offers received.
So where, I mean, how do you find these opportunities? Are these all on vet-biz ops or what?
No, these are no bids. Simplified acquisitions are no bid contracts. They're not put out for bid. There's only 4 ways you can get them. They search the system and find you because you'll be registered as a simplified acquisitions contractor. They can call you or email you and ask you for a quote. If your quote's fair, they can hire you. They don't have to get a second quote. They can prepay you, giving you the working capital, and they can be up to the suggested threshold $8 million, but they can be a lot bigger than that. Matter of fact, I'll show you one right here was awarded to a client of ours. It's really slow.
Hi, love.
Call
Do you do
Travis.
anything?
Yes. Is that the guy?
I just got off the phone with.
Okay. Did you see my email? I didn't have his phone number.
I haven't been able to check my email yet because I've been back-to-back meetings today. Matter of fact, I'm going to have to cut this meeting like 10 minutes short because I'm going to have to get back on here and invite everybody to the training. But we still got another 20 minutes. We're good.
How challenging is it transitioning from, you know, this simple acquisition program or whatever simplified acquisition program to actually bidding, you know, full construction projects, things like that?
Most bids are put out. You got about 30 days to submit your bid. So if you got on board with us today, you can start finding stuff to bid on today. You've got roughly, on the average, 30 days to submit your bid. Once you submit a bid, they have roughly 30 days to choose a vendor and award it. Once they award it, they typically give you 30 days to start the work or to ship the product. Once you ship it or finish the work, they receive it or you finish the work, they typically will pay you within 30 days. So everything's basically 30 days. They have to pay you within 15 to 30 regardless because of the American, the Expedient Payment Act. They don't have a choice. So they're not going to make you wait 60 or 90 days. If it's a simplified acquisition, they're going to prepay. And you're going to work with me. I'm going to teach you how to do a discount term, which means you're going to give them a 1% discount if they pay you within 5 days. And they'll pay you within 5 days just to get that discount. So if you got started today, you could start bidding today.
So if, okay. So if, I mean, say I started out just basically being a broker for minor goods and services, I could add, you know, add a partner that has a general contractor's license and stuff down the road and basically make it a seamless transition relatively.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to add a partner. I would suggest you don't add partners because I see more disasters coming from teaming agreements and partnerships you're better off just hiring those guys as a subcontractor.
Yeah. Huh.
Because most contracts
Okay.
you can sub out 100%. That's how TV Guy does it. I mean, look at this guy right here. All right. See where it says simplified acquisition?
Mm-hmm.
It was a sole source because he's a service disabled veteran. You see that?
Yeah.
You see how many offers received?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this guy only did $1 million in revenues last year with 13 employees. He's a service disabled veteran. That's it. He's not a minority. He's not a woman. He's not a veteran, 8A, HubZone, nothing. All right. You see where it says his annual revenue is $1 million?
Yeah.
Look at what the government gave him. They gave him a $1 billion contract with a B. They paid him $750,000 up front, which is 0.75%, which would be enough to cover the bond. They're going to give him $3.1 million a month for the next 3 years through 2020.
Wow.
He went from $1 million business to $1 billion business overnight, all because he's a service disabled veteran.
Yeah. Huh. Pretty amazing.
Look at this one. I just did, and this is one that I actually wrote the proposal for.
Was that somebody that came through you?
Yeah, that's one of our clients. I trained him back in 2010, and he took the ball and ran with it. Now look at this one right here. Congratulations, government hereby accepts your offer of provisions, dental laboratory services, blah, blah, blah. These guys hired me last year to write a proposal for them. It took the government 6 months to award it, but they finally awarded it to my client for a proposal that I wrote, and it's worth $21.5 million a year, minimum 21.5. It's an IDIQ, and they're guesstimating 50 to 100 orders a month. I bet you the first month they'll get 500 orders. I bet you it'll go from 20 million to 100 million, just like that. And it's a 5-year contract. And this is on my resume. I wrote this. They paid me to write this one, and then because it took 6 months to award it, they wrote 4 other bids on their own and didn't win any of them. They lost all of them. And it wasn't over price. It was over discrepancies in the filings. Discrepancies in the bid, just mistakes that he made. And he didn't send them to me and let me look them over. Like I tell people, let me look your stuff over before I submit it. I'll do it for free. I'm on your team for a whole year. Take advantage of me. He didn't send me any of them because we didn't win the other one. And it took them 6 months to award it, but they finally awarded it. So they won their first contract.
Wow. So do you do these as well? Do you have a small business?
If you need me to write a proposal for you, you would have to give me the solicitation number. I'll have to look at it and determine how many hours it is. And then I can give you a quote as far as what it would cost me to write it for you. But yes, I do write proposals.
Well, no, I'm saying, do you have a small business where you submit government contracted work?
God, I wish.
So no.
I can't. It's a conflict of interest. Here, I'll show you.
Huh.
All right. This is just this week alone. I don't have my readers on, so I got to make this thing bigger. This was Tuesday, 4/11. Referral from the Air Force. Brandon Stout, contracts manager, interested in working with us to find registered small business. Yes, under that NAICS code. He couldn't find a business to do a job, so he reached out to us and asked us if we could refer him to a vendor who's compliant that could help him with that NAICS code. I got 3 of these this week. Actually, the other 2 came in last week. But we get referrals from the government. We get government agencies that refer people to us. Because I get referrals from the government, I can't broker contracts. It would be a conflict of interest. It'd be insider trading. And trust me, I've had this conversation with my attorney until I'm blue in the face trying to find a loophole around it. Because if I could broker contracts, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I'd be sitting in my house right now in my underwear brokering contracts.
Yeah.
In order to do that, I would have to delete my videos, not do anything government related for like 3 years. I'd have to go deliver pizzas or something stupid and delete my videos, and then I could come back and start a business and do it. Otherwise, you know, I can help you win them, and you can show up buy me lunch and bring me a Christmas bonus. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
All right. The main thing is don't overthink this. All right. And I'm going to show you a prime example of that. Here's a company called Blue Raven. That's a small woman-owned business. She came to us in 2014. All right. We keep track of every note, every phone call, every email, everything we do is tracked in the system. She came to us in 2014. She registered for simplified acquisitions right here. 3:31 p.m. on, 11/3/14, 3:30 p.m. she signed up for simplified acquisitions. Less than an hour later at 4:19, she called back in and canceled. She said she talked to a friend of hers and told her friend that she registered for government contracts, and her friend told her that you're just wasting your time and money. That he tried it 10 years ago and he failed. You can get in trouble. You can get fined if you make a mistake. It's risky. He just scared the hell out of her, right? So she overthought it. She called back in. She canceled. She called back in a year later, 10/16 or 10/6 of 2015, and inquired and decided not to do it again. She called back in again, 2016, and signed up again for the 2950 program, and then called back again to cancel again because she got scared. She was overthinking it. I took the phone call and I said, listen, you've already canceled once. They don't allow people to continue to recancel because it doesn't look good on us. We don't like that. So if you cancel again, they're probably not going to let you sign up again. So before you cancel, join my training today at 4. See how I help my clients. See how willing I am to help and what I'll do for you. I'll help you find something to bid on. If we can't find something to bid on after the training or you're not comfortable, I'll tell them to give you a refund, no questions asked. So she got on my training. We found something to bid on. She called me after the training and she said, John Wayne, I'm still a little scared, but you made me feel a whole lot better. I'm going to stick with it this time, and I'm going to trust you. You tell me you're going to help me. You're going to help me win contracts, and you're going to keep me from getting fined and in trouble and all this other stuff I'm worried about. I'm going to trust you, and I'm going to stick with it. She won her first bid in less than 30 days. If you take our DUNS number right here and copy it and go to FPDS and paste it, she won her very first bid. It was only $25,000, which isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things. To the government, that's like buying a piece of bubble gum. But to her, never having done a contract larger than $2,000, and a $2,000 contract to her was gold. She won one for $24,000. She's ecstatic, okay? And she's not a veteran. She's not a minority. All she is a woman-owned small business doing graphic design. Dude, you're a
I mean, I know it would vary between, every bid would be different, but I mean, what are the typical profit margins, if there are any?
I teach my clients to have an average profit margin of at least 20%. There's no reason to do this if you're not going to make money, all right?
Yeah.
I brokered contracts back in the late 80s and early 90s, and our average market was 5%, and the average number of bidders was 15 to 20 that we were competing against. If there was only 10 bidders, we were thrilled. And if we were making 5% markup, we were thrilled. Average number of bidders on government contracts is 3, and the average markup is 20%.
Well, all right. Well, very, very convincing information. What is, as far as the cost associated with this program, what does it look like?
Well, because you're willing to broker and the fact that you are a veteran, I will take you on as a client, all right? I don't take everyone on. My client success ratio is almost 90%. I want to keep it that way. I get a Caucasian male who calls me, and he's not a minority or veteran or woman-owned. He's just a good old white guy, but he's got no set-asides going for him, and he doesn't want to broker. All he wants to do is do janitorial or landscaping or whatever he's been doing for the last 20 years. I don't take him on as a client because it's too risky. I want people that have a great deal of opportunity to be successful. And that's the only way I'm going to keep my client success ratio is at 90%, is to take people on that I know have a good chance of being successful, right? I'll take you on as a client, but only if you promise me 2 things. You got to hustle, man. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. You're not going to get registered, and this shit's going to fall in your lap, okay?
Right.
got to pick that phone up and make phone calls. I will teach you what to say. I will teach you how to say it. I'm going to help you write your elevator pitch. We're going to build your cap statement for you. We're going to put it on your website so you can download it right off, or you can email it to them. I'm going to give you the names and numbers of these people. I'm going to show you how to search yourself and find the names and phone numbers and emails of these people. But I can't pick that phone up and call them for you. So I need your word that you're going to hustle, even if it's just an hour a week, and pick that phone up and make those calls. If I get your word on that, then the likelihood of you being successful expands tenfold. The other thing I need you to promise me is that you're willing to submit bids. You can't submit one and fail and give up. And that happens on occasion. And that's why I'll never get higher than 90% success ratio, because at least 10% of the people out there are idiots, and they'll submit one bid and not win it and give up. I got to have your word that you're willing to submit bids. I'll help you. I'll teach you how. I'll help you put them together. If it's a big one and you need me to write it for you, you can pay me and I'll write it for you, but I can't submit them. So as long as you'll guarantee me you'll invest the time to submit bids and make those phone calls, I'll take you on as a client.
Well, I can tell you now, I mean, in my day job, I sell multi-million-dollar pieces of power generation equipment. So that hopefully, holding out or being timid on contacting people is not my shortfall.
Okay. All right. Here's what I can do for you then. We get a lot of referrals from the government. We get people that are already working with the government, and the government says, hey, I want to do this one contract with you. It's a bigger, longer term contract, but I can't do it unless you get registered for simplified acquisitions. Some of them will try it on their own and fail. Some of them will ask the purchasing agent, can I pay someone to do it for me? So we get referrals from the government where they'll tell people to go sign up with us. When those people come to us, they typically go to the website, they click on it, they don't think twice, they sign up, upload their check, and they buy the service for $5,000. What I can do for you, number one, I can use vouchers from the NBCC conventions. I can bring the cost of that program down to $29.50. Right off the bat, I can knock $2,000 off of it. I can also do this, because I'm the guy that's in charge of training. I can include with that program 1 year of group training at no charge. We normally charge $2,000 for the group training per year. So you're getting group training for a full year. You'll have access to me every day from 4 to 5 p.m. regardless, no matter what, to ask questions, to help with bids, etc. I'm also going to include 5 hours of one-on-one personal training outside of the group session, because if you have something that, being that you're military, you'll have access to contracts that other people won't. Some of them require a clearance. I can't discuss contracts that require a clearance in a group session. I could get in major trouble. Right. So I'm going to give you 5 hours of personal training, so we got some time to work on stuff that we can't talk about in the group setting. I can give you the AFPDS or the vet-biz. AFPDS only takes days to set up. vet-biz takes 3 to 6 months, so it's not a short-term solution.
Mm-hmm.
AFPDS is our database. It's awesome. You're going to need it eventually. I haven't even mentioned it up until now because I don't want to confuse people with a lot of details. You're going to need it eventually, so either or. My suggestion is to go with the AFPDS, wait on the vet-biz because it takes 3 to 6 months. It's not going to help you immediately. All right?
Yeah.
I'm also going to include your SAM registration, which is the basic. If you've already done it, that's fine. We're going to go back in and make sure it's done right. Plus the SAP program, which is normally $5,000. That's over $10,000 in services I'm giving you for $29.50. So I can save you over $8,000. If you want to add the vet-biz today and keep the AFPDS, I can add the vet-biz today for half price. So it's normally $2,000 by itself. I can add it today or within the next 30 days at half price. Or you can wait until you win your first contract, a month or two down the road, and take some of that money and come back and do the vet-biz later. You just have to pay full price if you do it later.
Right.
Now, how soon are you wanting to start bidding on these?
I don't know. I don't even have the LLC and emails and cell phones and stuff set up yet, phone numbers set up yet. So I'm not really sure. There's some administrative stuff I need to set up because I can't use my business line for other business things like that. So, I don't know. I kind of need to learn administratively what I need to have set up to make sure I'm protected and doing things correctly.
Well, let me do this for you. I've got, unfortunately, I got to end this short because my training starts at 4 o'clock. And like I said, I always have this training available. You're already in it. If you want to stay on and hang out and see what I do, if you haven't joined a training yet, you're more than welcome to stay on. And I just answer questions and I help people with bids, you know. A lot of those videos you've been...
I don't have a whole lot of time either. I have to cut off here in about 5 minutes.
That's fine. That's fine. What's your email? Let me email you this info so you've got it.
Z Robinson. Yeah, Z as in Zach.
V Robinson.
Yeah, no, Z as in Zach. Z Robinson.
Oh, Z like zebra.
Yeah.
Zulu.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay. I'm CCing my assistant on this, Angela. So when you're ready, all you have to do is reach out to us. Angela will send you over the forms. You sign the forms with your mouse. That's it. We make it as simple as possible. That gets your case manager assigned. You can start bidding same day, and you'll be working with me personally. All right?
But I mean, wait, so how does it work with you know, my business, right? So I mean, how are you guys going to get my business name and is that all the stuff that I would provide to you guys?
Those forms that she sends you, they're electronic. They're online. You sign that with your mouse. That gets your case manager assigned. That gets me assigned and everybody else assigned to start processing. Once you sign that, then you're going to log in, and there's some forms that you'll fill out in the portal where you put in your information for us to process you. It's a secured portal. We register government agencies too. Wells Fargo Bank is one of my clients, and I have their EIN. I have access to all their personal information in my file. You know, it's
Okay.
secured, right?
Okay. Well, all right, John. Well, I appreciate it. I'm gonna think it over and try to do a little more research, and then I'll reach out to you guys.
Well, don't think too hard because right now the hub is having a problem with DUNS numbers, and if they modify that system and they change that, it could be a whole different ballgame, and that might affect the price too. So
you guys would need me to provide you with all that, right?
When you're ready,
something you guys do.
No, we're going to get most of your information from the state. Most of your information is already online with the state profile. All right. Yeah. The rest of it, you're going to fill out on the worksheets.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right, John.
Any other questions?
No, I don't think so. Not right now. It's been very helpful.
All right. Well, you can thank me after you win your first contract. And if you want to do, you know, if you want to see who I am, just go to YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll keep looking around.
Do this. Search YouTube. This is funny. Search YouTube government contracts. Of course, my video is number 1, 5, 6, 7, 9, 11, 13, 14, 16. But
a lot of advertising.
No, this is all organic, dude. I don't spend a penny. This is all organic. You will never see one of my videos where it says ad or I'm paying you to click, ever. This is all organic. Search government contracts, John Wayne. Same thing. There's not a single ad on here. I don't pay for shit on here, dude. Everybody finds me and watches my videos, and that's why my videos become popular, because they watch them for so long. It's the length of time. But I mean,
through over the course of the year, how many clients do you typically work with?
I have right now almost 4,000 clients.
Okay.
But most of them, you know, I can only teach you so much before you learn everything I know. So most of my clients will call me once every 6 months and say, hey, I know you taught me this, but what's the blah, blah, blah? You know, or they'll get in on a group training every now and then and ask a question. Otherwise, they're busy winning contracts. You know, and if you search government contracts, John Wayne, and you look, I'm 10 pages deep. And after page 4 or 5, you'll see that my competition puts my videos on their website. Look, GSA, has me on their, GSA has me on their YouTube channel.
Huh. Cool. All right, John, well, I got to run. I appreciate it. But let me think about it, and I'll reach back out.
You got it, man. Just don't overthink it. It's much simpler than it seems.
Cool.
All right.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Thank you. Later.
Oh, apparently I lost weight.
What if your drawers?
What was your drawers, boy? What do you think you're...
He's son of a bitch. But you know what? I am somebody that gets all I get a methodology. Something my kid, like, when we were little, she would sit there and watch them. And they would dance or whatever. He's 11 now. And he's not some youth with him now, but I am. I love him. And for, I forget what it was for, but I got those two ones to make them. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, Pokemon coming back, like, and then, like, last year, Pokemon, yeah, it's so big in school, it's hard. I had so much. Oh, I know. Garrett never got into Pokemon, but his friends are great. Last year, they came out with some app on the phone, the Pokemon Go thing. You hear about that? Where you would be, like, walking somewhere, and you would just, like, Pokemon, like, they would, like, jump at you and have to collect them. And it was like a game. Well, Garrett's friend got into it. And he'd be like, if you have Wi-Fi, I would use your console thing. And he was obsessed. And they sent it along aftercare. Trade cards. Yeah, because I took both of them. And I had to tell his mom that he cut $3 cards because they were getting his price for, like, getting that bad. He's like, really? Eric's like, it's okay. I don't even know why you got it. He was like, he didn't get it. He still doesn't get it. Well, good. Yeah.
This is John. Can I help you? Yes, sir. I am. I did. I just got it. Well, right now I'm just trying to get this the meeting started, and I had back-to-back meetings all day, so I'm just now getting people invited to the meeting. I only got 4 minutes to set it up, so if you want to join, we could go through it. It's up to you. I'm starting the training here in 4 minutes. If you want to join, if not, email me and we'll get together after or tomorrow or something. Okay. All right, you got it. You got it. How many times have I told them not to call me?
Robinson the contract? He was the last person.
No, he said he wanted to think about it.
Okay. Because the guy before him was going to try to get the money from somebody, and I'm going to send him a contract out.
All right.
Did you not invite me, mister?
Actually, I don't think I did.
What the
I know. I had.
I said you didn't invite me either. You didn't get any invitation.
I emailed your chick, but I did it 3 minutes ago because I got 50 people at the last minute wanting to know if they can get on the training. I can't do that. I'm going to tell them they got to let me know a half an hour in advance or I'm not going to take it anymore because they're making, now I'm going to run late. Everybody else has got to wait.
She requested it yesterday, so no, it wasn't her. It was all these other people. Like, he's been on the phone back to back to back. He even grabbed me. I was like, he already sent it to you. And at least if I have it, I can forward it to people while we're on the phone. Somebody doesn't get it. If somebody can forward it to me, then I can forward it to you. And then you can forward it to me. And I can forward it, forward it, forward it, forward it. And then you can forward it. Right.
Look, I got some nitwit left me a voicemail, and I got to check my voicemail before I can start the meeting. Can you guys hear me okay? I get a lot of people asking about simplified acquisitions and how can I find those? I want to see a list of them so I can bid on them. They're no bid contracts. They don't put them out for bid. You cannot go look at a list of them. That's you know, that's an oxymoron to the term no bid, that they don't put them out on a list. There's only 4 ways you can get simplified acquisitions. You have to be registered as a simplified acquisitions contractor in those systems so that the purchasing agents can find you. They can search and see your business name. They can search by keyword, NAICS code, PSC, FSC code, find you. They can call you or email you, ask you for a quote. You can give them a quote over the phone or via email sometimes, a verbal sometimes, and they can hire you without putting it out for bid. They don't require a second quote, and sometimes they'll prepay. So that's one way of getting simplified acquisitions, is being registered as a simplified acquisitions contractor. The second way to get a simplified acquisition is to win a bid contract, do a good job, earn their trust, build that relationship with that purchasing officer that's hired you for the bid contract, and they can hire you for simplified acquisitions down the road because they trust you. They already know that you'll do a good job. The third way to get a simplified acquisition is to do a subcontract as a subcontractor. And a lot of times when you do a subcontract job for a prime, they have to disclose who you are. So the prime, the purchasing agent knows that you're the subcontractor, and they know if it's being subbed out 100%, you're the actual guy doing the work. Sometimes when that contract comes up for renewal next year, they'll ask you to bid on it directly as a prime, and you're also build relationships with that purchasing agent, and they can find you as a simplified acquisition and hire you because you've already earned their trust. The other way to win simplified acquisitions is to pick up the phone and call these guys and get in front of them. You got to hustle. You got to get in front of these guys. Let them know you're compliant. You're a small business, woman, minority, veteran owned. You know, hit them with your elevator pitch. Let them know you're set up for simplified acquisitions, and ask them what you can do to earn their business. They can use a simplified acquisition as a good way to test the waters and hire you for a smaller contract and see if you're going to do a good job. That's the only 4 ways to get simplified acquisitions: to be registered, to do work as a prime, to do work as a sub, and pick up that phone and call these guys, get in front of them. Any questions on simplified acquisitions? Any questions in general?
Hey, John, this is Steve McCormick.
Yes.
Question on if, for instance, if you wanted to sell, say, a lawnmower, a piece of equipment, is that considered to be what? What's the classification for that?
It depends how the purchasing agent wants to buy it from you. They have auctions. There are places where you can go and sell stuff that you have, and the government even buys some stuff that's used. But most purchases are going to be made because the purchasing officer wants it, and they're going to reach out to you or to the general public through FBO and put that out for bid, either as a pre-solicitation or solicitation or an RFI or an RFQ or an IDIQ or something to that effect.
Speaking of one that already has a solicitation for a lawnmower.
If you want to email me the solicitation number, we can take a look at it right now during the training, or you can email me and I can answer your questions.
I just wanted to know basically what the classification would be. If it's not simplified, then what is it, and how do you go about it?
You'd have to send me the solicitation number, and I'd have to look at the solicitation because every solicitation is different.
Okay.
Do you have the solicitation number available, or have you emailed it to me already?
Yeah. No, I haven't emailed it. I can't email them on the cell phone right now, but I can give it to you.
Go ahead and give it to me.
All right. Victor Alpha 78617 Quebec 0362. Victor Alpha 78617 Quebec 0362. And if there's anybody who's not talking right now, if you guys could hit mute on your phone, I hear a television or something in the background. Okay, Kubota utility vehicle or similar item? All right, so this is what's called the combined synopsis solicitation. The word combined synopsis makes no sense whatsoever, and what it actually means is that it's a real active solicitation. Why they
decided to call it a combined synopsis instead of real active or current or, active solicitation. I don't know. It's the government. They do things that don't make sense. But that's what combined synopsis means. It simply means that it's an active opportunity. Solicitation means it's out for bid. So in this case, I would look at the due date, response date, look at the set aside, make sure it's something we qualify for. Read the synopsis, which there's not much of a synopsis here. They're saying they want that specific model number, specific part number. So we're looking for the instructions to offer, which tells us how they want it shipped, what accessories they want, etc. So they want 4 RTV X1100cc Kubotas. And then you look at the instructions to offer. The instructions to offer tells us, statement of work tells us what it is they want to buy. Instructions to offer tells us what it is they want us to submit with the bid. Instructions to offer is usually on the standard form right here. So we're going to do Control F and put in the word instructions. And there is no instructions to offer. So we're going to look for something that tells us how they want us to submit the bid. Quote submission. Submit a detailed quote to Chris at that email. Please fill and return the standard form. There's the statement of work. That's the end of provisions. So yeah, all they want us to do is fill out that standard form. This is a real simple one. There are no, there's no amendments, so you don't have to acknowledge the amendments. All they want you to do is fill out the standard form. And email it.
Okay.
If there was amendments, you would acknowledge the amendments there and submit the quote. Sign and return the standard form. That's it. The standard form is this one page. Very simple. Make sure you sign and date it. Don't handwrite it. Make sure you type it out. That's it. Any other questions?
So to be clear, if it was simplified, it would have indicated that where you
put simplified acquisitions in FBO, but when they do, it'll say right here in the synopsis that it's a simplified acquisition.
Okay.
Or sometimes it'll show it under notice type, but they don't put them out in FBO very often.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Got it. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
John, I have a question for you.
Yes.
I'm running into several of these proposals, and I'm at a loss whenever it says we want to know, your history, or what is it called whenever they want to know, what work you, what is it called again? Past
performance.
Yeah, past performance. What do you recommend, as far as in that area, as far as, you're going to have to tell them something. I haven't done my first contract yet, so I haven't won my first proposal, so.
Yeah. You can use for past performance, unless they specify that they want specific past performance. Sometimes they'll tell you they want past performance within the last 3 years or the last 5 years. A lot of times they'll tell you they want past performance that's in relation to the pending contract, similar in size, shape, and fashion. Sometimes they'll just ask you for 3 past performance references. Whatever they ask you, of course, you want to follow the instructions, but you're allowed to use your personal experience as long as it's within the time frame that they allot. If they don't allot a time frame, you can use whatever experience. I had a client win a contract. He used past performance from a subcontract he had when he worked for Raytheon when he was a kid in college. He worked for a temporary agency, and they hired him to sweep floors at Raytheon at night. Technically, they hired him as a subcontractor, so technically he was a subcontractor for Raytheon for 2 years. He didn't specify what it was he did. He just told them I was a subcontractor for Raytheon from this time to this time, and here's the reference. You know, and they awarded the contract to him based on that. They didn't ask him what type of work it was, so he didn't have to tell him he was sweeping floors. So unless they specify a specific type of past performance, you can use your experience, you can use your other employees' experience, you can use your subcontractors' experience, you can use any teaming agreement or other businesses you're working with, you can use their experience. You can hire someone that has specific experience. Or sub it out to someone who has specific experience to utilize it. Just make sure when you specify that information, if they're telling you they want to know your experience, just be honest. Give them exactly.
Let me read this to you just real quick and just put your 2 cents in on this. It says past performance information when included as an elevation factor to include recent and relevant contracts for the same or similar items or references, including contract numbers, points of contact, telephone numbers, and other relevant information. And what do you think about that? I mean, what exactly?
They're saying they want you to include 3 references that are similar to the job that you're bidding on.
So what if you don't have those references? Are you out of the water?
Use your subcontractors' references. Use whatever you can get.
I see.
Past performance is on small business set-asides. It's rarely about your past performance. It's rarely about the cost. On small business set-asides, 99% of the time, it's about the solution. Your technical proposal is the most important factor. Price and past performance are usually past performance is secondary and price is last. So if you've got the right solution, you don't have to be the cheapest and you don't have to have any experience. Unless the next guy has the same solution but has experience, then he's got one up on you. But most opportunities will specify that if you have no experience, you'll be classified as neutral. So it's not good or bad.
I see.
Otherwise, if they required past performance on every contract, no one would do work because no one could get their first contract because no one has past performance.
I see. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep. Think about it this way. When you were in school and you decided you wanted to get a job and your parents said you could go get a job and you went and applied for a job, probably didn't get your first job because you had no experience. But you stuck with it and you submitted a few more applications and someone gave you a shot. This system's no different. Obviously, the more past performance you have, the more trustworthy you are, the more they know they can trust you, the more contracts you'll get. It'll snowball. So you got to get that first one. But don't think that because you have no past performance, you're not going to get that first one, because if that was the case, no one would work for the government.
So should I mention that I've been self-employed for the last 20-something years, a successful company, and yada, 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 yada? Would that make any difference?
I wouldn't mention anything that they don't ask. You're a small business.
Okay.
You can mention that you've been in business 20 years. That's a good thing. That shows that you're doing something right.
Right.
I get people that call up and they say, yeah, I told them I was a startup small. Why the hell did you tell them you were a startup? You don't have to tell them that unless they ask. There's no set aside for startups. Well, I just thought I should be honest. Don't lie to the government, but don't tell them stuff they don't ask for either.
Right. Well, luckily, my first proposal that I submitted last week, they didn't ask for anything like that. They just wanted the units, and that was it. And how much were they?
Awesome. That's believe it or not, more than half the government contracts that go out are just like the one we just looked at. They want you to fill out a standard form. It's going to take you longer to reach out to the supplier and get a quote than it will be to actually put the bid together and submit it.
Exactly.
And if you work on those and knock out enough of those, you're going to win. It's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if. All right. Any other questions? Anybody else got a question or a bid, solicitation, or proposal to work on?
Hi, John, this is Jason with G.S.A. Did you get the estimate of value for the estimation of value that we sent in for the contract?
I did. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
Okay, we just want to make sure you got it.
Absolutely. Yep. Got it. I've had back-to-back meetings today, like nonstop. So I apologize, guys. I've been slammed. And that,
Now we've been hawking you like a bunch of groupies. So our apologies. We know you got a lot of stuff going on.
it's all good. It's all good. My emails automatically forward to my assistant, and I think what we're going to do here, starting soon, is she's going to schedule the trainings. Or she's going to set up the trainings, and then when you guys email, she'll get the email and she'll add you. And that way I can just focus on answering questions and taking these calls and getting her done
Over your back though, okay?
instead of doing that administrative stuff. But anybody else got a bid, solicitation, proposal you want to work on or a question?
Hey, John, this is Trent with GCI.
Yes, sir.
The solicitation that we're looking at is asking that all of the positions that we're going to be bringing on board to be fingerprinted. Are there any particular rules or of services we can and cannot use to do that?
Unless it's specified in the solicitation that they want you to use a certain company to do the fingerprinting or a certain process, no, you can pretty much use anybody you want. Any of you guys that need fingerprinting or drug testing or background checks, let me know. I have a vendor who's a federal contractor. She's very, very inexpensive, and she's damn good. She'll give you a good deal.
Okay.
She loves me to death, so she'll always give you the best deal she possibly can. So if you guys ever need that, just drop me an email. I'll refer you to her.
Okay, because we need it. We have 20 positions that we have to get fingerprinted.
You got it. Just drop me an email, remind me, and I'll go through it, or I'll email you her information.
Okay, and then just one last note. So once you look at the estimate of value, then you will let us know if you're going to give us the green light?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Looks like
John will be your very best friend. We'll be your very best friends. We promise.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Looks like we got...
I do have, hey, John, I do have one question, because what's your rule on guys who get their contracts and they're happy and they want to reward you? Are there limitations on what you can receive from us?
Not really. I mean, Christmas bonus is Christmas bonus,
Okay, just want to make sure, because I'm a merciful man.
I've had a few clients come out and take me out to dinner and hand me a Christmas bonus. I'm waiting to help somebody win a big contract and them say, you know what, I want you to come work for me full time, and make me an offer I can't refuse. I'll still do this training every day from 4 to 5 when that happens. I'll still be here for you guys. And it's going to happen eventually. I mean, I helped that guy win that $1 billion contract, and he's itching to do another one now. But,
Okay.
It's like the dental contract these guys won. They won it, but now they're scared of making a mistake, so they're being really, really thorough. And I understand that completely, and I respect that. But a lot of people, they so overthink this. It's mind-boggling how they make something that can be so simple,
Okay. Hey, John, is it possible after the call today to just get 5 minutes of your time on a phone call?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Because we have a lot of people on hold, and me and Jason just want to talk to you for about 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You got it. It looks like we got a question through the chat window. It says, solicitations that state-approved sources, are these the only company that you can go with? It depends. If the government's put something out and they're putting it out as what's called the G.S.A, a justification and approval. A lot of times justification and approvals are opportunities where there's either only one source that they think they can get it from, or they only want to buy it from one source for some reason because of a warranty or something like that source is offering. So they'll put it out as a G.S.A, a justification and approval, to make sure that everyone justifies it and that no one disapproves of it, or that you can't find a better version that's cheaper or has more buzzers and whistles, or you got access to a better model number for the same price, something to that effect. most contracts, if they want to buy it directly from a supplier, they're not going to do it as a simplified acquisition. Just going to do it as an RFI or IDIQ, and they're going to buy it directly from the supplier. But if it's a small business set aside and that supplier or that manufacturer is not a small business, they can't sell direct. So I've seen the craziest things, guys. I got Herb with Pyramids got a contract where he's providing butane. And the company that's providing the butane, his subcontractor is the same company that's held the contract for the last 20 years. But the contract's now a small business set aside, and they're not a small business, so they couldn't bid on it directly. So, and they even told them that, like, hey, we held this contract last 20 years, but we can't do it now, so we're going to give you a really good price. And if you charge them this amount, that's actually 10 cents less than what we charged them last year. So they gave him a better price to make sure that he still won it so they can continue to service it. Kingdom Limo, what's his name? Eric Christensen. Eric bid on one. The quote he got from his subcontractor, they put 2 and 2 together and they figured out what he was bidding on, and they underbid him. So his own subcontractor underbid him and won it. And when he found that out, he called me, man. He was so mad because he's done business with these guys before. He's sub-worked out to them before. And now they're undercutting him and stealing business. So he was mad. Well, he called me about a week later, really ecstatic. The guys that they awarded it to did something and upset the purchasing officer. So the purchasing officer redacted it. They took the contract from him, or from his.
Logistics, Steve, how can we help?
And they gave it back to Eric. And then Eric turned around and subbed it right back out to the guys that they took it.
Did you put that one in already?
So I've seen stranger things.
The day you called in.
Somebody's talking and they're not on mute, so I'm hearing a conversation in the background. Anybody else got a question, bid, solicitation, proposal?
Yeah, question. How long does it take for you to actually be, like, for a small business, certified as a small business?
If you're starting from scratch, it's going to take you a couple of days probably to set up a DBE. If you set up an LLC or an S-Corp, it's probably going to take you a week or two, depending on if you use prepaid lawyer service or if you do it on your own through the state. Once you have your EIN or you're set up as a DBA, if you register for Dun & Bradstreet correctly and do it the way I tell you, you can a lot of times get a Dun & Bradstreet number right over the phone. If you don't do it the way I tell you and you follow their process, it could take a week or two before they'll actually award a Dun & Bradstreet number to you. Once you have your DNB number, we can get you registered in the system in about a week or two just to do simplified acquisitions. So once you have your EIN and you have your DUNS number, you can start bidding immediately.
We just got our case number back this week, so we got all of that.
You're good. You can start bidding today.
But how do you become registered for a small business, like to be as a as where it says set asides?
Best thing you want to do is email me and ask me to look at your filing after the training, and I'll look at it and see what you're compliant for and what else you need to do.
All right.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Anybody got a bid, solicitation, proposal to work on?
Hey, John, this is Daniel. Quick question. Can you please just explain to me what the Simplified Acquisition Program is again?
Simplified acquisitions, okay, are contracts that are not put out for bid. A lot of people call them no-bid contracts. There's only 4 ways you can get simplified acquisitions. You have to be registered as a simplified acquisitions contractor so they can find you. They can search you by keyword, NAICS code, DUNS number, cage, PSC, FSC, NAICS code, whatever. The only other ways to get simplified acquisitions is to go after them. So you can do a bid contract for a prime and do a good job and earn their trust, and they can hire you for simplified acquisitions down the road because you've already built that rapport. You can do a subcontract for a prime and do a good job, and a lot of times the prime has to disclose who their subs are. So the purchasing agent knows you're the one doing the work, and they see that you're doing a good job. They can hire you for simplified acquisitions because you've earned their trust. The only other way to get simplified acquisitions is to pick up the phone and call purchasing agents, let them know you're compliant for simplified acquisitions, and ask them for their business. They could give you a small simplified acquisition to get started, to test the waters and make sure you're going to do a good job. And that's it. That's the only way you can get them.
Okay, so when you guys say you're signing us up for simplified acquisitions, that's basically the website helping us with our capability statements, and then us calling around, introducing ourselves to purchasing agents, introducing ourselves to primes and things like that. That's basically what the simplified acquisition program is, correct?
No, there's a few additional steps. There's the DSBS, setting you up in SAM as a simplified acquisitions contractor, you know, putting that information on your cap statement and your website, yes, but there's a few additional steps, a few additional registrations that have to be done to be compliant. Any other questions?
Yeah, hey John, this is Trent from GSA. I have a question. Do you have any videos that will show a company how to supervise subcontractors during the duration of the contract that they're fulfilling for you or servicing for you?
No, I don't. It'd be a good subject to make a video on, though.
Yeah, because we're running into that. You know, how do you corral 20 radiologists for 1 fixed year and possibly 4 additional years, or possibly 5 years?
Yeah, send me an email. I'll look into it and write a video on it.
Okay, I appreciate it, John. Thank you, sir.
John, thanks for the explanation of the simplified acquisitions as well.
Sure.
Couldn't get into.
Anybody else have a question, bid, solicitation, proposal? You can get down on one knee and ask me to marry you. That's a proposal, but I will say no.
We'll marry you, John. That's GCI. We need you.
I tell people all the time, I'm not married and I do not have a girlfriend. So if someone ever calls you and says they want you to, you know, they're going to help you because they work with me, or they're my wife or they're my girlfriend, they're lying through their teeth, because I'm as single as it gets. And I've had that happen. It's the reason why I bring it up.
I am just starting off on this and getting ready to form a proposal. What are some key points that I need to focus on starting on?
I'm sorry, but you're really muffled. I can barely hear you.
Hello? Can you hear me, John?
I can hear you, but it's real distant. It's real muffled. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just now starting off on the bid proposal. So I wanted to know some key subjects and topics that I should include in my bid proposal.
You wanted to know what about a bid proposal?
The key points that I should include when creating a bid proposal.
Well, every bid's different, so there is no magic bullet for all bids. You know, there's no smoking gun that you can use to work on all proposals. That's why I do this proposal training, so people can log in with a proposal and I can actually go through it with them one-on-one. I can show you a basic proposal if you want. You can also go to YouTube, search instructions to offerer. Instructions to offerer. These are all videos where I physically worked on proposals with clients, mostly through the GoToMeeting, and it explained what documents are required, what's needed, how to submit them, etc. So you can always go on here. There's only 119 videos under this subject, and most of them are mine. So if you want to watch those on your, on a part-time, otherwise I can go through a generic one now if you like. I can't hear you. It's so muffled. It sounds like you're talking like 50 feet from the phone or something.
A generic one will be fine.
Okay. Does anybody else have an actual bid, solicitation, or proposal to work on? Instead of working on a generic one, I can actually work on a real one. If not, I'll do a generic one. Nobody? All right. Now, people overthink this all the time. They make this system way more difficult than it is. I'm just going to put up a basic opportunity under construction. I'm going to look for one that's a solicitation. This one's been modified, so we might have to acknowledge the amendments. So when I work on an opportunity, the first thing that I look at is when is it due? This one's due on the 21st, so we still got time. And what is it set aside for? If it's set aside for a service disabled veteran minority woman, we don't qualify. There's no sense wasting our time on it. As long as we got plenty of time to bid and we qualify, then we come up and look at the synopsis. The synopsis is going to give us a basic idea of what it is they want to buy. A lot of synopses have a lot of repeat information in them, you're going to notice. So I get to where I just speed read them. Blah, blah, blah. They're looking for base material, flexible base aggregate, crushed limestone, riprap, and chip seal rock. It's a small business set aside, even though it doesn't say it's set aside here. It's saying it will be a small business set aside. Blah, blah, blah. They want you to email the quote. These are modifications, so there are changes. Blah, blah, blah. That's what they wanted emailed. That was the modification. These are the documents, which are down here. They're also up here. They're also over here under packages. So if this was something that I'm interested in, the first thing I'm going to do is watch the opportunity. It's going to force you to log in to do that. Accept the terms and conditions. Click watch the opportunity so it puts it on your watch list. In order to keep track of this, all you got to do is go to My FBO and go to the watch list. And that's on my watch list from now on. Until I remove it, it's a permanent part of my watch list. Once it's on my watch list, I want to know what it is they want to buy and how much and all that. So I'm going to look at the documentation. I already know what it is they want to buy because they posted it right here. So the main thing I want to know is the instructions to offer, how they want the bid submitted. So I'm going to open the document, do a Control F, put in the word instructions. And try and find the instructions to offer. Preserves this amendment shadow instructions to offer commercial items. Okay, so there's the acknowledge of amendment form. They want you to acknowledge the amendments, which are right here. They want you to put the date and time this thing was changed. So it's been changed quite a few times. They want you to put that date and time there. And this is saying that you acknowledge that it's been amended, it's been changed. Once you acknowledge the amendments, they want you to fill out the continuation sheet right here. So this is where you put your pricing. Looks like there's a 4-year option on it, so they want to know pricing for all 4 years.
John, to pull up the screen for the instructions, you hit F, and then what was the number?
One more time.
What was the F number?
The S number?
The S is in Frank number to bring up instructions. If you type in S in Frank, and then you type in instructions at the top, what was the number?
Oh, I opened a search box. To open a search box, you hold down the control button on your keyboard and hit the letter F, and it opens a search box.
Okay.
So this one's pretty simple. They want you to fill out the standard form and put in your pricing, sign and date it, fax it, or email it back. All the rest of this stuff is your reps and search. So you'll include an attachment if they ask for it. Any other questions?
Like the one that you're looking at right now, that type, if you was basically just a broker and you knew like where to get the supplies from, would you be able to do it?
Yeah. You find stuff the government needs, find a supplier who has it, get a quote, mark it up, submit your bid. When you win it, you have them delivered directly to the buyer.
Yeah. Okay. No, it was one that I actually was looking at. It was sent you the solution.
Got really bad audio today. I don't know if it's on the GoToMeeting's end or. Any other questions?
Did you get it?
What's that?
I sent you. I was showing you one that I was looking at.
Was this Mike Chappell? Was this Javante? Can you hear me now? I don't know if I get a bad audio with GoToMeeting, guys. I can't hear you. It's really marbled and distorted.
I put it in the chat office, in the chat box thing.
Byron? Hygiene items? It's funny because right off the bat, purchasing agent didn't even spell hygiene right. What's your question on it?
Okay, they got a list of the stuff that they're looking for, and she told me the only thing that couldn't come from China was the toothpaste. But she also gave me a list of 2 different companies or whatever that I guess they use, or like what's the idea where it say UNICOR? That's a like, was that a prison or was that who they are? Because also keeping a line that supplies the stuff that they're looking for.
You're cutting in and out, so I hear half of what you're saying, and the other half is completely garbled.
Okay, right there where it says UNICOR, it's the one that says that, and it also shows that that's who they are. I was confused because the company that supplies they basically supply everything that they're looking for.
This is probably a small business set aside, so Unicore can't bid on it. That's why they're putting it out for bid. And they're saying Unicore is the only supplier that you can get the toothpaste from, so you would have to get a quote from them for the toothpaste portion.
Would you be able to get it from them?
What's that?
Anything that's on their list, would you be able to get that?
Yeah, if the purchasing agent's saying they're the only supplier, then that's who you're going to have to get a price from for the toothpaste. And you can get the rest of the stuff from China.
Oh. So we just basically got to get only the toothpaste from them.
You could possibly get the quote for everything from them and then get a quote from other suppliers for the other pieces and see if it's cheaper to piece it together or just have it done from one place. If Unicore can send it to you in the packaging that they want where it's already prepackaged, then that might be cheaper than buying it cheaper and then having to invest in the labor to put the packages together. I have a client 3 years ago bid on a contract to provide FEMA with emergency hygiene kits. So an emergency hygiene kit would be if there's an area that's flooded or disaster recovery, they give the victims an emergency hygiene kit that has toothpaste and shampoo and soap and underarm deodorant and foot powder, and it had to have different sizes of different things. They had to be packaged in a certain way. It had to be, the packages had to be sealed, and they didn't have to be sterilized, but they had to be put together in a clean environment. And it was cheaper for them, instead of going through that whole process and renting a warehouse and doing all that labor, it was cheaper to pay more and have them prepackaged that way.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
No, not for that.
Got it. Anybody else have a question, bid, solicitation, proposal? No. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and shut the meeting down for today. It's Thursday. Thank goodness. I'll be back on here tomorrow at 4 o'clock. You guys want to get in, email me early if you can. I'm going to have to stop taking emails after 4:30 because it makes me run late and getting the meeting started. So let me know early if you want to join. If you got a solicitation you want to work on, while you're in FBO, copy the address and email me the address. That way when we get in here to look at it, I don't have to write the number down and search it. I can just click on the link and go right to it. All right, guys. Have a good day, and I will see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.